So, today we're going to talk about couples therapy and what to expect in couples therapy. Couples therapy is obviously a type of therapy where you're coming as a couple and the goals are focused on the couple itself rather than the individual. Now, there's some things about couples therapy that it's really important to discuss. I think the first thing is that there's definitely some misconceptions about couples therapy. I think that people have this idea that you're just supposed to be in this really, really, really bad place before you come to a couples therapist. And that's just not true. I think it's really healthy for couples that are doing, I guess a little bit better, if you will, to come to couples therapy so that they can continue their growth together, so they can continue working towards positive goals. Couples therapy also is for those people and couples that are in tougher situations, but early intervention is really, really, really important. So, in the first session, when you book a session, you really need to be focused on what your goals are and what you're working towards. Every couple is different and has different circumstances. Yes, it may look similar to other couples that are dealing with similar issues, and we can all say that we can communicate better. But I do think that goals need to be tailored specifically towards what that couple is going through and what their goals are. So during that first session, we're going to look at those goals. We're going to be on the same page by the time you leave. And we're also going to review some of the policies and procedures that we have to review as, I am a licensed therapist, so we have to review some things on that first session and get all of the paperwork sorted away. But one of the things about setting goals is it really starts to help facilitate that trusting relationship that a therapist is supposed to have with their clients, and in this case, the couple. So something else I get asked is, what do we work on? Is it just communication? And the short answer to that question is yes, you do have to work on communication. Absolutely. But there are some other things that, some couples may have to work through, right? So if it's maybe, let's say, an affair situation where there's been some type of affair, that would be way different than just working on communication skills. But there may be some communication skills that needs to be worked on as well. So again, I defer back to what I just said about you have to be able to tailor each of the goals towards the specific couple and the situation that they're dealing with. Another big thing with me for sure is that I think that it's really important to do homework outside of the sessions. Honestly, I'm big on goals and I'm big on homework outside of the sessions. You have to practice some of the things that we talk about and some of the skills at home through every single day, not just once a week or once every 2 weeks that you're in counseling. In saying that also brings up another point that, I see couples normally every 2 weeks, but again, that also is tailored towards what the specific circumstances are. And, I've seen couples once a week, I've seen couples once a month, usually after a little bit of, time that passes in therapy. We may transition to maybe like a once a month maintenance schedule, but again, dependent on your circumstances and your needs. Something else to note that with couple sessions, it really does require you to look inward as much as you're looking, I guess, in the couple, right? So you have to be able to be willing to look at what you have going on, what you're dealing with, and how it contributes to what you guys are going through together. And so being willing to just be open to discussing, this isn't going to be individual therapy. And honestly, I do recommend getting an individual therapist to be able to help you navigate your individual goals, while you're also working on goals in couples counseling. But I just think that it's really important to just have the mindset that you're just willing to work on yourself just as much as you're willing to work on the relationship as well. So some other things to consider is that there's going to be some discomfort. In couples therapy, it's not going to be easy discussions. It's really challenging. And there may be some temptation to argue or repeat arguments in here, that maybe you've started outside of therapy. It's really important to address one thing at a time and help, use your therapist as sort of a mediator, if you will, to be able to help mediate those discussions and just defer back to, what the therapist is trying to work with you on. So if you're, let's say, working on communication skills, and it brings up, a tough topic that an argument per se, you would want to probably pump the brakes if it just gets a little too heated and be able to defer back to the therapist to help you navigate that situation. That's one of the benefits for coming into, a place where you have an unbiased third party present, is you can get them to help you really see from both sides and get them to walk with you through that instead of, just being an argument in the room. The last thing I want is to just sit here while two people argue about a situation that, it's just not helpful at the end of the day. One of the things I tell my clients is I don't necessarily put a time limit on how many sessions we may do together or how long it may be. Again, that is something we discuss in the first session, but I do think that it's really important to, set a goal and then also revisit it later on. So if you've been working with the therapist for 3 months, let's say, and you're seeing them, every other week, that there may be more that's needed depending on what your goals are. So again, it all comes back to that conversation and setting goals within the first session about what your specific needs are. So to sum it all up, I just want to say that couples therapy can be intimidating when you're maybe on the fence about booking it, but ultimately I think it's definitely worth it for you to be able to come and sit and really process some of the things that, maybe have been more challenging to do on your own, or just really things that's been holding you back that maybe you've not even talked about yet. It's really important to, kind of get those things out so that you're not dealing with those things just in your own head or just with yourselves. I do want to encourage you to definitely do your research, look at the therapist, see what qualifications they have, and make sure that they're a good fit. Out of everything, I think that's the one key that's most important. If it's someone you're not comfortable with and you're just going to them and just trying to, get through it, you may not get out of it what you need comparatively to someone who just may be a better fit, like personality wise. It could be a multitude of things. So just really do your research beforehand and make sure, that this therapist seems like they may be a good fit. And so it's okay to go to a session and talk about it. And if it's not necessarily a great fit, have a conversation, see what you can do. And it may be a referral where you get referred to someone else, or maybe that's something that, just needed to be discussed and you work through it with your therapist. So I just want to encourage you, if you're on the fence, like I said before, go and try it out. If you've been struggling in your relationship and you just feel like you're stuck, it's really important to just get outside of that rut and just get a little bit of help along the way. There's nothing wrong with going to sit down with a third party that's not connected in the situation. I think that's also another thing that's really important. They're not connected to your story. They're not connected to you. Whereas you might have like maybe a friend that is supportive, but is definitely biased towards you and your side. So anyway, I hope this helps. And if you're looking for couples therapy, I wish you the best of luck. If you're looking to book with me, would love to talk to you, and hope that you got something out of this video.